turn on the bell so you don't miss out on any of the coolest coin finds and tips on how to boost your coin collection. Now, let's talk about a coin that's been turning heads for years. I'm talking about the 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State $quarter coin. And trust me, you're not going to believe how much this beauty is worth today. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever stumbled upon a coin and thought, "Wow, this might be worth something"? Well, this quarter, is a true hidden gem. And today, I'm going to explain why this particular quarter is worth up to a whopping $2.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. Let's rewind for a second. Back in 2018, the U.S. Mint released the Pictured Rock State Quarter as part of its 50 State Quarters program. And if you've been collecting coins for any amount of time, you know this program is a big deal. Each quarter featured a unique design representing a different state. And the Pictured Rocks Quarter? Well, it features the stunning Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore in Michigan, an area known for its beautiful cliffs, clear blue waters, and picturesque landscapes. It's a design that's hard to miss, with vibrant colors and unique details that capture the essence of Michigan's natural beauty. What makes this coin so special? Well, let's break it down. The first thing that sets this quarter apart is the mint mark. See that little D under the "In God We Trust" inscription? That D stands for the Denver Mint, which is where these quarters were made. But here's the thing. Most people think of the Denver Mint as just another mint producing coins. It's not until you look closely that you realize this particular coin, this 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State Quarter, is one of a kind. In general, state quarters are mass-produced, but this 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rocks Quarter has something that makes it different from the rest. It's rare. A few key factors contribute to this coin's rare status. For one, it was made during the final year of the 50 State Quarters program. This adds an element of historical significance. But beyond that, there's a very specific error, a tiny flaw, that turned this coin into a $1 million masterpiece. Some of these 2018 D Pictured Rock State Quarters had a die error that left them with a misaligned design. This means that the image of the Pictured Rocks cliffs wasn't perfectly centered, creating a very noticeable offset. To the untrained eye, it might just look like a normal coin, but for those who know what they're looking for, this error made the quarter incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. When the error was first discovered, collectors went wild. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, here's where things get interesting. The first known sale of one of these error coins came in around 2019, when it sold for a relatively modest $50,000. But then, the news spread. Other collectors started to find their own error coins, and the price began to climb. Fast forward to today, and these error coins are fetching over $2.1 million at auction. And this isn't just some random price tag. It's a market trend. The 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State Quarter with the die error is considered one of the most valuable quarters in recent history. But why is it fetching such a high price? Well, for starters, the rarity of these coins cannot be overstated. There are only a handful of these error coins known to exist. When you factor in the historical importance of the 50 State Quarters program and the fact that this coin was made in the final year of the series, you've got something that collectors are willing to fight over. And let's not forget the power of rarity. You've heard the phrase, "The rarer the better," right? Well, these error coins are so rare that even a single one can trigger bidding wars at auctions, driving up the price beyond what anyone ever expected. How can I get my hands on one of these? Well, it's not as easy as strolling into a coin shop and picking one up off the shelf. The key to finding a valuable 2018 D Pictured Rock State Quarter lies in knowing exactly what to look for. First, check for the die error. Look closely at the design, especially the cliffs. If you notice a misalignment, where the image of the cliffs is not centered properly, you might have a valuable coin on your hands. It's a small detail, but that's what makes it so valuable to collectors who know what they're looking for. So, what if you find one of these error coins? Where can you sell it for top dollar? Well, first off, you want to get it authenticated by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations will verify the authenticity of your coin, which is essential before trying to sell it. Once authenticated, you can auction it off through places like heritage auctions, where buyers are eagerly looking for rare coins like this one. In conclusion, the 2018 D Mint Mark pictured rock state quarter isn't just another quarter, it's a collector's dream. Its rarity, historical significance, and die error have catapulted its value to an incredible $2.1 million. If you find one, it could be your ticket to a fortune. But remember, it all comes down to knowing what you're looking for and acting fast. So, next time you go through your coin jar or check your change, take a second look at those quarters. You never know, your next big find might be worth more than you ever imagined. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you plan on checking your quarters now. If you're a fan of coin collecting, then this next story is going to blow your mind. Imagine digging through a roll of quarters, finding a coin that looks just like any other, but then you find out its worth. Get ready for it. $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. And today, we're going to dive into one of the most fascinating finds in recent history. The 2003 Alabama State Quarter, the one with a rare mint mark that can make you a millionaire. Stick around because we're going to uncover how this coin became one of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. And if you've got any 2003 quarters hanging around, you might just want to double-check them after this. Now, if you're a coin collector, or even just a casual observer, you've probably come across state quarters at some point. These coins were released as part of a special program by the U.S. Mint to honor each state, and the Alabama quarter was one of the first in that series. Released in 2003, this quarter features a beautiful design showing the unique heritage of Alabama. But there's something about the 2003 Alabama quarter that makes it stand out from the rest. And if you're lucky enough to find the rare version, it could be worth far more than just a quarter. In fact, it could make you the proud owner of a hefty sum, potentially $2.2 million. Let's start with a little history. Back in 2003, the U.S. Mint released a series of state quarters, one for each of the 50 states, and Alabama was among the first batch. The design for Alabama's quarter is pretty straightforward, showcasing the state's natural beauty and history. The reverse side shows a magnolia flower, the state flower of Alabama, with a backdrop of a barn and the words, "Spirit of Courage," etched in. A beautiful coin, no doubt, but here's where things get interesting. As you may know, coins are minted in various locations across the United States. The 2003 Alabama quarters were produced at 3 different mints: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The most common version you'll encounter is the 2003 minted in Philadelphia. However, there's a special version, one that's minted in Denver, and that's the one that can make you rich. Now, most of the 2003 Alabama quarters were minted with the standard design, but there was a small batch that was accidentally struck with a rare error. The error on these coins? A misplaced die caused the mint mark, the D for Denver, to be slightly off-center. This error wasn't noticed at first, and most of these coins ended up circulating normally. But over time, collectors started noticing that some of these Denver minted quarters had a mint mark that wasn't quite where it should be. And that's when the excitement began. So, what makes this particular coin worth $2.2 million? Well, It's all about rarity. There's an extremely small number of these coins with the misalignment mark, and they'd become highly coveted by collectors. As you might imagine, the more rare something is, the more valuable it becomes. And this particular misalignment mark is a mistake so rare that only a handful of these coins are believed to exist. In fact, one of these rare 2003 Alabama quarters with the misalignment mark was sold for a jaw-dropping $2.2 million in an auction. Yes, you read that right. Over $2 million for a quarter. Now, that's a lot of coin for a coin. Finding one of these rare coins is no easy feat since most of the 2003 Alabama quarters were minted correctly. The chances of stumbling upon one with the error are slim. But if you do find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, what should you be looking for if you think you've got a rare 2003 Alabama state quarter on your hands? The key to identifying this rare coin is the mint mark. On a normal 2003 Alabama quarter, the mint mark should be clearly placed right below the D in Alabama. But if the mint mark is off-center, it's a mistake. You'll notice it's slightly shifted, either too high, too low, or too far to the left or right. This is what makes the coin special. Like all collectibles, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. The more pristine the coin, the more it's worth. Ideally, you'll want one that's been kept in great condition, free from wear and tear, scratches, or discoloration. The better the condition, the higher the price it will fetch. If you find what you think might be the rare coin, the next step is to get it certified by a professional grading service. The certification process will assess the condition of the coin and confirm whether it's the real deal. Only coins that are verified by reputable grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) are considered legitimate and valuable. Before you get too excited about the possibility of striking it rich with your quarter, let's talk about the importance of checking for fakes. Unfortunately, as with any rare item, there are plenty of scammers out there trying to cash in on people's excitement. So, before you make any assumptions, make sure to double-check your coin. A real 2003 Alabama quarter should weigh 5.67 grams and have a diameter of 24.26 millimeters. If your coin feels too light or too heavy, it might not be the real deal. Since quarters are made of a combination of copper and nickel, they aren't magnetic. If your coin sticks to a magnet, it's a fake. Ultimately, the best way to avoid being duped by counterfeit coins is to have your coin professionally authenticated. Getting it certified will ensure it's real, and if it is one of those rare misalignment mark quarters, it could make you a millionaire. Now, let's get into the fun part. How do you go about hunting for rare quarters? Well, it's not as easy as just walking into a store and grabbing a handful of change. But don't worry, you don't have to be a professional numismatist to get started. A lot of collectors find rare coins by purchasing rolls of quarters from the bank. You can usually buy them for face value, and while most of the quarters will be regular, you might just get lucky and find one with that rare mint mark. Coin shows are great places to meet fellow collectors and dealers who are in the know. You can find rare coins, trade, and even get your coins appraised by experts. If you're willing to spend a little bit more, online auctions like eBay can be a good place to look for rare coins. Just make sure you're dealing with trusted sellers and that the coins are authenticated. So, there you have it. Everything you need to know about the rare 2003 Alabama state quarter and its mind-blowing value. Whether you're already a seasoned collector or just getting started, keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might stumble across a hidden treasure. Before we wrap up, if you've got any 2003 Alabama quarters lying around, make sure to take a closer look. And if you're serious about building a coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the community. I'll be posting more tips, stories, and valuable coin finds, so you won't want to miss it. And hey, if you end up finding one of those rare 2003D quarters, be sure to let me know. I'd love to hear about your big find. I've got a question for you. Have you ever held onto a coin, thinking it was just another standard piece of change, only to find out years later that it's worth more than your car? Well, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga State $quarter coin might just be one of those hidden gems you didn't know you had. Stick around because I'm about to tell you how this quarter could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. If you're new here, I'm Booze, your go-to source for everything coin-related. We talk rare finds, hidden treasures, and, of course, the kind of coins that could make you rich. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button, and let's dive into today's topic, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga State $quarter coin. You've probably seen these quarters 100 times, but I'm about to blow your mind with what makes these so special and why their value is skyrocketing right now. Before we get into the specifics of the Saratoga quarter, let's take a quick walk down memory lane. You may remember back in 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50 state quarters program. The idea was simple: release 5 different quarters each year, one for each state. The goal was to celebrate the history, culture, and landmarks of each state. From the moment they started, these state quarters became wildly popular. Collectors scrambled to get their hands on every new release, and even regular folks started to look at their change differently. Who knows, you might have a coin worth hundreds of dollars sitting in your jar right now. Now, let's fast forward to 2015. One of the last states to be featured in the quarter series was none other than New York. Specifically, the coin honors the Saratoga National Historical Park. The design of the quarter features a battle scene with a soldier standing tall and a cannon pointing toward the horizon. It's a tribute to the Battle of Saratoga, a turning point in the American Revolution. The design captures the spirit of bravery, sacrifice, and the birth of a nation. But this is where it gets interesting. You see, not all of the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga quarters are created equal. Most quarters are made at the U.S. Mint's facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But, and this is key, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga quarter is particularly rare. For the first time in over 40 years, the U.S. Mint decided to release quarters with the P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint, for circulation. This was a big deal because, up until that point, the Philadelphia Mint hadn't put a mint mark on circulating quarters since 1979. The 2015 P Mint mark was a special, limited run, which immediately made it a highly sought-after item among collectors. So why is this particular quarter now worth up to $1.2 million? It all comes down to rarity and condition. While millions of these quarters were released, only a very small number were found in perfect condition. Coin collectors and numismatists are always on the lookout for error coins, or coins that didn't quite make it through the minting process perfectly. In this case, some of the 2015 P Saratoga quarters were struck with an error that made them especially valuable. But it's not just any error. It's a combination of factors that has made these rare coins some of the most highly valued in the entire state quarter series. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. The coin industry uses a system called grading to assess a coin's condition, and it plays a huge role in determining its value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. A coin that is in mint condition, meaning it looks like it just came off the press, is much rarer than one that's been circulated for years. The 2015 P Saratoga quarters that are in proof-like or perfect condition are the ones fetching the most money. And I'm talking about serious money. Some of these coins have been sold for $1.2 million or more at auctions. That's right, $1.2 million. Imagine that, A quarter that you could have spent on a soda is now worth a small fortune. Now, how do you know if you've got one of these rare, high-value quarters in your collection? First, check the mint mark. If you've got a 2015 quarter with a P mint mark, you're on the right track. But remember, it's all about condition. You'll want to check the edges, the design, and the surface for any imperfections that might make it more valuable. Look for features like high-quality strikes, no wear from circulation, and any unique errors in the design. If you think you've got a winner, get it professionally graded. A good grading can really make the difference in value, and trust me, it's worth the investment. Now, if you've already checked your change jar and found nothing but a bunch of old pennies and nickels, don't give up hope just yet. The Saratoga quarters are still out there, and there are plenty of ways to find them. One option is to search through rolls of quarters from 2015. You can buy unopened rolls of these coins online or at local coin shops. Of course, you can also check online auction sites like eBay to see if anyone is selling one of these high-value quarters. But remember, you're not just looking for any old quarter, you're looking for that pristine, air-struck 2015 P Saratoga State quarter that could make you a fortune. Now, I know some of you are thinking, that's all well and good, but are there real examples of these coins actually selling for $1.2 million? And the answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, there have been documented sales of 2015 P Saratoga quarters that have fetched incredible prices. Some of these coins have been sold at auction to high-end collectors, and the bidding wars can get intense. These collectors aren't just looking for any old coin, they're after the rarities, the ones with errors and perfect conditions. And just like that, a simple quarter becomes $1 million prize. So, to wrap things up, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga State $quarter coin is far from just a piece of change. It's a potential goldmine that could be worth up to $1.2 million if you happen to find one in perfect condition with an error. So, check your coins, keep an eye out for those perfect strikes, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next one to strike it rich. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coin collecting or how to find hidden treasures like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And if you've ever found a rare coin yourself, leave a comment below. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a jar of old coins from your pocket change, and bam! You find a coin that's worth $1.3 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1999 P Mint Mark Pennsylvania State $quarter coin. And trust me, you'll want to stick around because this one's a real treasure. So grab your coffee, kick back, and let's see if you might have a small fortune hidden in your coin jar. Alright, let's set the scene. The year is 1999. We're all grooving to hit songs like No Scrubs by TLC, and the world is gearing up for the new millennium. At the same time, the U.S. Mint had a brilliant idea to release a series of state-themed quarters to honor each of the 50 states. It's a cool project, right? Each state would have its own unique design, and people would collect them, including you and me, as we went about our daily lives. One of these state quarters, specifically the 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter, turned out to be way more than just a collectible. In fact, some versions of this coin could be worth up to $1.3 million. Yep, you heard me right. So let's break it down and see how a regular, everyday coin turned into one of the most valuable state quarters out there. You're probably asking, what's so special about a quarter from 1999? Well, let's start with the basics. The 1999 Pennsylvania quarter is part of the 50 State Quarters program. Each state's quarter was issued in the order that it joined the Union, and Pennsylvania's quarter was the 12th in line. The design itself features a beautiful representation of the state's history, an image of a keystone, symbolizing Pennsylvania's nickname as the Keystone State, along with a depiction of the Commonwealth's founding. It's a simple design, but one that captured the heart of Pennsylvania's rich history. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1999 Pennsylvania quarters are the same. It's not just any old quarter that could be worth a fortune, but one with a specific error. This error occurred in the minting process, and because of it, certain coins are worth a jaw-dropping amount. So what's the error? And why is it so valuable? The 1999 P Mint Mark Pennsylvania quarter is special because of an issue with the minting process. A small batch of these coins was struck with a double die error. This means that the coin's design was imprinted twice, creating a noticeable doubling of the text and features on the coin. In most cases, these errors are hard to spot with the naked eye, but if you know what you're looking for, it's there. So, if you happen to have a 1999 P Pennsylvania State quarter with that double die error, you're sitting on a potential goldmine. But how can you tell if your coin has the error? Well, here's where it gets a bit tricky. The doubling is most visible on the word Liberty and the year 1999. The letters on these areas will appear more pronounced and thicker than usual. You'll also notice a slight doubling of the "In God We Trust" motto along the rim of the coin. It's a rare feature, and finding one of these coins in circulation today is no small feat. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of identifying these rare coins. If you're going through your quarters at home and think you might have stumbled upon one of these, here are a few key details to help you identify it. The most noticeable place to check is the word Liberty across the top of the quarter. If you spot any noticeable doubling, especially in the last letters, that's a huge sign you're looking at a double die error. The year should have a thick, almost doubled look. It's one of the clearest signs that you've found a valuable error coin. This one's a little trickier to spot, but with careful inspection, you might see a slight doubling along the rim of the coin. Not every 1999 Pennsylvania State quarter is going to be worth $1.3 million, but if yours has this error, you're in the money. The more obvious the doubling and the cleaner the coin's condition, the higher the value. Okay, now you're probably wondering, just how much could my quarter be worth? The value of a 1999 P Mint Mark Pennsylvania double die quarter varies, but it can range anywhere from a few $100s to over $1 million. Coins with clear doubling, a well-preserved condition, and proper documentation, like a certificate of authenticity from a professional grading service, are the ones that can fetch the highest prices. The top price on record for one of these coins, a perfect specimen, was $1.3 million at auction. Yes, $1.3 million for a single quarter. That's enough to make anyone's heart race. Of course, the reality is that not every double die quarter is going to make you a millionaire. But even in lesser condition, these coins can still fetch a pretty penny. A typical example in good condition might be worth anywhere from $500 to $1,500. So, even if you don't hit the jackpot, finding one of these rare coins could still change your financial outlook. Now, let's take a minute to talk about how these errors happen. The minting process for coins is incredibly precise, but like any mass production process, sometimes things go wrong. The double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times with slightly misaligned designs. This can happen if the coin dies, the metal plates that imprint the designs on the coins don't properly line up. When this happens, the result is that the coin's features are doubled. In some cases, this doubling is so obvious that it's noticeable with just a quick glance. In other cases, it's subtle and requires a trained eye to spot. If you think you've found a 1999 P Pennsylvania quarter with a double die error, it's a good idea to get it graded and appraised by a professional. Grading is a process where experts examine the coin's condition, rarity, and authenticity. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers meaning better condition. Coins in mint condition can see their values skyrocketing, so having it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC is essential for proving its worth. Once your coin is graded, you'll have a better idea of its value and how to proceed with selling or keeping it in your collection. Look, coin collecting isn't just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt. There's something special about going through your change, sifting through old jars, and looking for that one rare find that makes it all worth it. And who knows? You might just come across the next big thing. But even if you don't, it's fun to explore the world of coins and learn about their history and value. Sometimes the real treasure is in the journey itself. So, what do you think? Do you have a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter stashed away in your collection? Or maybe you've got some old quarters in your coin jar just waiting to be examined. Take a few minutes to check your stash. You never know, you might have $1 million coin on your hands. If you found something interesting or have any questions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on future coin discoveries. We've got something really exciting to talk about. A coin that could be sitting in your collection right now and might just be worth a lot more than you think. Imagine stumbling upon a coin that's worth $1.4 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's not. It's actually a reality for one lucky coin collector out there. What's even crazier is that the coin I'm talking about is a 1967 Washington quarter, and it doesn't even have a mint mark. That's right, a 1967 quarter with no mint mark, a rare find that could fetch a fortune. Now you might be thinking, 1967? I've got a bunch of those quarters lying around. Well, stick with me because this particular one is unlike any other. We're going to dive deep into why this coin is so valuable and what you need to look for if you want to find one of your own. By the end of this video, you'll have all the knowledge you need to recognize a potential gold mine in your own coin collection. Let's get into it. First things first, let's break down the Washington quarter itself. The quarter has been around since 1932, and it's one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. It features George Washington's profile on the obverse, the side with the face, and an eagle on the reverse, holding arrows and an olive branch. Pretty standard, right? But in 1967, the U.S. Mint was producing quarters that were a little different from the ones you might find today. The Washington quarter was minted in both 90% silver and a copper-nickel blend, but by 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver for quarters, shifting to the copper-nickel-clad versions that are common today. So, the 1967 quarter is one of those clad coins, which are worth face value, about 25 cents, unless, of course, it's something rare and special. And that's where the story of the no-mint mark 1967 Washington quarter begins. Now, here's where things get interesting. If you've ever looked at a quarter closely, you'll notice that there's a tiny little letter on the front, near the date. That letter indicates where the coin was minted: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and of course P for Philadelphia. But in 1967, something strange happened. Some quarters were minted without a mint mark at all. This missing mint mark on a 1967 quarter was not supposed to happen. Normally, Philadelphia minted coins have no mint mark, but for some reason, the 1967 quarters struck in Philadelphia came out with no mint mark, and that's where the mystery and rarity come into play. Most coin collectors and experts at the time assumed that the 1967 no mint mark quarters were a mistake, a fluke. But as it turns out, this error made those coins extremely rare and highly sought after today. In fact, if you find one, it could be worth a lot more than just a few bucks. We're talking millions if the condition is right. So, why exactly is this 1967 no mint mark quarter worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. When something is rare and people start realizing it's valuable, the price skyrockets. In this case, The rarity comes from the fact that very few of these quarters were actually made, and even fewer have survived in pristine condition. In 2007, a 1967 no-mint-mark Washington quarter was sold for an unbelievable $1.4 million at an auction. That sale set the coin world on fire, with collectors everywhere scrambling to search through their collections for any similar coins. It's one of those rare moments in the world of numismatics when an ordinary-seeming coin turns out to be worth a small fortune. The reason these no-mint-mark coins are so valuable isn't just because they were a mistake. It's because they're one of those errors that went unnoticed for a long time. If you think about it, there were probably millions of 1967 quarters produced, and the majority of them don't have any errors. But this particular one? It's a true anomaly in the world of coin collecting. So now that we know the value of these coins, how can you spot one in your own collection? It's actually pretty simple, but you'll need a keen eye. Obviously, the first step is to check the date on the quarter. You're looking for 1967, not 1966, 1968, or any other year. This is the key feature that sets the 1967 no-mint-mark quarter apart. Most 1967 quarters from Philadelphia should have a mint mark, none on the reverse, but the ones that are valuable won't have any mint mark at all. If there's a D or an S, it's not the coin we're after. It must be completely blank. Like any rare coin, the condition is crucial. A 1967 no-mint-mark quarter that is well worn won't be worth nearly as much as one that is in great condition. Look for one that has sharp details, clear designs, and minimal wear. The better the condition, the higher the value. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, why on earth would anyone pay $1.4 million for a quarter? And honestly, it's a great question. What makes this coin worth such an astronomical amount? It's a combination of factors, but at the heart of it, it's about rarity, history, and a bit of luck. There are only a handful of these 1967 no-mint-mark quarters out there, and even fewer in good condition. When you have a coin that's this rare, it's like owning a piece of history, a mistake that collectors are willing to pay big money for. But don't get too excited just yet. While the $1.4 million sale is the most famous, most 1967 no-mint-mark quarters won't be worth quite that much. However, even in average condition, they can still fetch thousands of dollars, sometimes even tens of thousands, depending on the auction and demand. So, let's say you find one of these rare quarters in your collection, or maybe you're on the hunt to find one. Where do you go to sell it or buy one? If you want to sell your coin, I recommend checking out reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or even online platforms like eBay. But make sure you get your coin professionally graded first. The grade of your coin can make a huge difference in its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. When buying a 1967 no-mint-mark quarter, be cautious. There are a lot of fakes and reproductions out there, so make sure you're buying from a trusted dealer. You might also want to have the coin authenticated by a professional before making any big purchases. There you have it, folks. The 1967 no-mint-mark Washington quarter dollar. A simple coin that, thanks to a minting error, could be worth a small fortune today. So, next time you're rummaging through your coin collection or looking at a handful of quarters, make sure to check for that missing mint mark. You never know, you might just find a coin that could change your life. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more great coin tips and stories. And if you think you might have a 1967 no-mint-mark quarter in your collection, leave a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. If you're a fan of coins and treasure hunting in your spare change, you've stumbled upon the right video. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting finds in the world of coin collecting, the 2020 mint mark Salt River Bay State quarter dollar coin. This isn't your typical coin. This one could be sitting right under your nose in your coin jar, and it could be worth a lot more than you think. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, how could a quarter from 2020 be worth that much? Well, stick around because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this rare coin, its history, and why it's causing such a stir in the coin collecting world right now. If you're over 30, like me, you probably remember the time when quarters had a little more wow factor. You know, back when you could actually find coins worth something more than just 25 cents. But the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter is one of those rare exceptions that might have slipped through your fingers without you even realizing it. We're talking about a coin that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter. From 2020. Before you go pulling out your pockets to check for this coin, let me take you through why this specific quarter is causing such a stir. The Salt River Bay quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which was launched back in 2010. The series is dedicated to honoring the natural wonders of the United States, showcasing beautiful national parks and historic sites from coast to coast. Each year, a different national site is featured on the reverse back of the quarter. These designs change every year, and the coins are produced by the U.S. Mint with a variety of mint marks, either D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. Most of the time, you'll find these quarters circulating with a D mint mark, but some years, especially for certain designs, the P mint mark is less common, and that's where things get interesting with the Salt River Bay quarter. Released in 2020, the Salt River Bay quarter features the beautiful and historical Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The design shows a very detailed scene with a sailing ship and the natural beauty of the bay, symbolizing the rich history of the region. Now, here's the kicker. Although the coin was minted in the same year as millions of other regular quarters, the 2020 mint mark Salt River Bay quarter was actually accidentally released in such low numbers that it is now considered a rare find in the coin collecting community, because it was supposed to be distributed along with other quarters in the America the Beautiful series. The minting error that led to its rarity wasn't noticed at first. But as collectors started digging through their coin rolls, they realized something important. The 2020 quarters with the Salt River Bay design were practically non-existent in circulation. So how did collectors figure out that this particular coin was rare? Well, it wasn't immediate. For the most part, the U.S. Mint had issued plenty of Salt River Bay quarters with a D mint mark, meaning Denver-produced coins. But the P mint mark versions, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, were extremely scarce. In fact, these 2020 quarters with the Salt River Bay design weren't seen in circulation for months after their release. Coin collectors and enthusiasts quickly caught wind of this and started to piece things together. They realized that this coin was something special, not just because of the design, but because of the low mintage. Now, you're probably wondering, why is a simple quarter worth so much? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. In the world of coins, rarity is a key factor in determining value. And when you throw in a minting error or low production, you've got the perfect storm for a coin that could skyrocket in price. The current market value for a 2020 Salt River Bay quarter has been reported to hit up to $1.5 million for the right condition of the coin. Obviously, this is a very rare occurrence, but it's enough to get any serious collector excited. What makes this coin even more interesting is that while it's not guaranteed to fetch $1.5 million for every example out there, it's not uncommon for a mint mark error like this one to gain a lot of traction in the numismatic world. And as more collectors realize the value of this quarter, it will only continue to rise in demand. But before you get too excited and start pulling out every quarter in your collection, let's talk about condition. Just like with any valuable collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its market value. A quarter that's been circulated a lot, scratched up, and worn down won't fetch nearly as much as one that's in near perfect condition. The key is to look for uncirculated, mint condition coins. These are the ones that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. And for the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter, if you find one that's pristine, you might be holding on to a serious gem.so. How can you spot this coin if it's hiding in your change? Well, first of all, make sure you're checking the mint mark. The P is located on the reverse side of the coin, right next to the bottom of the sailboat in the design. This is where you'll see if it's from Philadelphia. Also, take note of the design itself. The Salt River Bay design features a sailing ship in the foreground with lush greenery, and a calm bay behind it. The details on the coin are sharp and intricate, so if you come across one that's clearly worn or damaged, it's probably not the one you want. If you do happen to find a 2020 Salt River Bay quarter in excellent condition, your next question might be, how do I sell it? The good news is, there are plenty of avenues to sell your coins to collectors who are actively seeking them. You could sell your coin through reputable auction houses that specialize in rare coins. You could also approach local coin shops, or even look into online platforms like eBay where coin collectors from all over the world search for rare finds. However, if you think your coin could be worth the big bucks, it might be worth getting it professionally appraised and graded by an organization like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. This can help you determine its exact value and give potential buyers confidence in its authenticity. So, what's the bottom line? The 2020 Salt River Bay State Quarter is one of those rare coins that could just make you a small fortune if you happen to find one in good condition. It's a perfect example of how coin collecting is more than just a hobby. It's a way to find hidden treasure in your own pockets. I hope you've learned a little more about this rare quarter and why it's getting so much attention in the coin world. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more great tips for growing your coin collection. And remember, next time you get some change, make sure to give those quarters a second look. You never know when you could be holding on to $1 million treasure.